Welcome to the world of Carry On. In this series, we're going to take a look behind the scenes at how some of the greatest Carry On films were ever made. In this edition, we look back at the fifth Carry On film, Carry On Regardless. But who was on hand to lend a helping hand? Sid James as Bert Handy. Kenneth Connor as Sam Twist. Charles Hawtrey as Gabrielle Dimple. Kenneth Williams as Frances Courtney. Joan Sims as Lily Devine. Liz Fraser as Delia King. Terence Longdon as Montgomery Infield Hopping. And Bill Owen as Mike Weston. By the time Carry On Regardless had been released in 1961, it had been a full year since the production of another Carry On film had been made, and other film production companies were trying to jump on the Carry On bandwagon by using such names. Rogers was desperate to try and stamp it all out, and the public knew that there was no such official Carry On film at that time. The Pinewood offices were flooded with letters from fans of the film suggesting diverse titles such as Carry On Stock Exchange and Carry On Stamp Collecting. But by January 61, Rogers has confirmed with the British Film Producers Association he wished to make Carry On Doctor. He also registered his latest film, Carry On Regardless, as well as several other projects in the pipeline. These included Carry On Dancing, Carry On Singing, Carry On Fleet Street, Carry On England and Carry On London, with only one of these being used later on in the series and one that almost went into production. Being a bit concerned about it, he issued a statement saying that unless it has his name on it, Peter Rogers, and it's by Anglo Amalgamated, it is not a genuine Carry On. There was 3 days location work for Carry On Regardless, set in Windsor. However, it was disrupted by bad weather, and on the 6th of December the Chimps party was held up because of rain. With further showers on the 12th of December, it forced the crew back to film cover shots at Pinewood Studios. Location film included where the Chimp got picked up at 11 Clarence Crescent, and also the headquarters for Helping Hands on the corner of Park Street in Windsor. Both locations would be used later on in the series for Carry On the Jungle and Carry On Again Doctor. Eagle-eyed fans might be able to spot Sally Geeson. She would later go on to play Sid James' daughter in Bless's House, but if you look closely, she's one of the many children amongst the toy exhibition at the Ideal Home exhibition. However, during production, illness affected the central casting of the film, in that Hattie Jakes was too unwell to play her original scripted character, a member of the Helping Hands team. Major rewrites resulted in some of Hattie's material being given to Joan Sims, and a brand new character, Delia King, being developed for Liz Fraser. However, the loyalty to the established team resulted in Hattie just getting a mere cameo in the film, getting £100 for the role that she did. So now it's time to have a look at the film, Carry On Regardless. The film starts with the labour exchange not having any decent jobs for women or for men, until Montgomery Infield Hopping noticed something spectacular in the Gazette. That sparked interest amongst other people within the exchange, and they all follow to Helping Hands, hoping for a great job. These jobs can range from babysitting, walking a chimpanzee, wine tasting, trying on your wife's clothing, boxing matches, visits to the hospital as a stand-in, even a fall for bridge, and not forgetting an Ideal Home exhibition. But there is one person that can put a stop to this thriving business, unless they listen to what he has to say. Unfortunately, because he's gobbledygook, it's going to be very hard to understand him. He's the landlord, and only Kenneth Williams can actually understand him. They find out that his intentions are to inform Bert Handy that he is due to vacate the premises, due to having a better offer. However, he sees that they all like their job and gives them an offer they can't refuse. So he hires them to do a house clearance and give it a good old clean. However, the team managed to demolish the house, but thankfully the landlord has changed his mind and decides he wants to replace it with a lovely block of flats. Flabberblob. Carry On Regardless was filmed between the 28th of November 1960 to the 17th of January 1961. It was released on the 23rd of March of the same year, becoming the 10th best film at the box office that year. So what do we think about Carry On Regardless? Well, in technical terms, it's more of a sketch show, and all the pieces are put together to make one film. There's not really much of a plot as such, apart from this Helping Hands agency who basically does a load of jobs for people. But these sketches, or these vinaigrettes as you want to call them, are basically putting the Carry On team to new diversity measures. They almost fit the part perfectly. But does the sketch format work? While some of the sketches that they did for this film are pretty damn good, some could have been cut and some weren't even used. But overall, is this film really regarded as being a great film? Well, it's one of those films that yet again sits in the middle of your Carry On list. It's neither good, it's neither bad. But the sketch format doesn't really work without much of a plot. So this film really doesn't really fit well with a storyline. However, these little sketches are enough to keep you laughing for 90 minutes, and as usual, it does work. Being an early entry for the Carry On films, they are still finding their feet, and we haven't really got into the real nitty gritty parts of seeing the Carry Ons do what they do best. That's still to come. Until next time, don't forget to carry on laughing.